Good morning. At least I think it's morning. You guys might be in afternoon class. Who's to say it's the future and now's the past from which I am talking from? I'm here to talk to you today about negative space, or sometimes referred to as negative shapes. We talk about shapes, we talk about organic shapes, geometric shapes. Well, this could be either one, but to show you would probably be easier than for me to actually explain it. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and we will take a quick look at negative space and positive space. All right, what is negative space? First of all, negative space is the area in which we move through in the three-dimensional world. So if you think about it, it's really the air. Positive space is the space that junk takes up. Your body, not to say your body's junk, just junk. Your body, the desks, a car, pencils, papers, books, game stations, train stations, whatever will stop you, trip you, or you can touch and tangibly feel. That's positive space. Now, space and shape end up becoming interchangeable in this for a couple of reasons. When we are trying to draw a negative space, what we are doing is drawing where the positive shape or the object touches the air. So this becomes an outline. It's a little more difficult than it sounds. If you take a look here on the left, you will see a positive shape of a forehead, a nose, upper lip, lips, chin, collar, jacket, and then some undescript points here. If you were to flip this upside down, you would see a chin, some lips, a nose, a forehead, a ear, pointed ear, and another ear. So basically you've got what superhero? Batman hanging upside down as a black negative space. And then you have somebody that I can only assume is the Penguin in the yellow area. All right, one edge creates another edge. As we take a look at this plant, the plant outline where the plant touches the air becomes almost a contour line, a line that traces the whole shape. Now, when this leaf hits another leaf, there's no need for details. You just stop and continue on the other leaf and move your way around the entire plant. So where two leaves touch, they become one. Sounds very biblical, doesn't it? Or at least something like a wedding vow. When it touches the vase that the leaves are being held by, they also become one. So let's just look at it as you are drawing the outline of something and you're getting rid of all the detail. And as soon as two things overlap, they just become one. In fact, as these leaves overlap, this almost looks like a guy with a point for a head, an arm, another arm, upper torso, his legs are split here. It's kind of that game when you stare at clouds and you see something in the cloud that isn't really there because it's a cloud, but in your head. You know what I'm talking about. All right, same thing happens here with this still life. This is an outline of these objects. Where those objects touch, they become one. So you're really only interested in drawing the outline, not of the black thing or the positive area, but the outline of the air and anywhere the air touches an object. And it becomes very tempting in this train of thought to think of it as you're trying to draw the outline of the positive object. And you can get away with doing that. But you have to draw the positive object and stop when it touches another object. So in theory, you're not drawing the spoke, you're drawing the square. You're not drawing this line, you're drawing the empty air in between the two lines. it becomes a little easier to see in this stool. You shade in this area, you shade in this area, you shade in this area. You do this one, 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 this one. Suddenly, you have an object. How does this help your drawing? Well, as we talked about in other videos, when we think about what the object is we're drawing, we tend to go into our left brain. So if you think chair, you have a symbol in your left brain that you could draw of a chair without looking at one. And when you look at a chair and you think chair, you're fighting that symbol in your left brain with what you are seeing in front of you. So that object, by giving it a name, becomes more difficult to draw because your brain wants to do the symbol system because your left brain tends to be dominant because that's all they work on in school, except in art class and in gym. All right, movement through space, or the realization and visualization of space, is all a right brain function. But when you don't think about what it is and you're trying to draw the shape in the air of air, you don't have a symbol in your left brain for air. So your brain strains, gets confused, becomes lazy, and the left brain starts to assign the task of drawing to the right brain. And that's part of the reason that we try to draw negative space, to draw this air, is because it helps us get into that right brain so that it is easier to draw. The more you get used to being in your right brain, the easier it is to draw realistic things. Bicycle, wonderful thing to draw. It's hard. Harder it is, the more the left brain will become bored or frustrated. Give the job to the right brain. There is one thing they are missing from this: spokes. But now here's spokes. Now, without making this more difficult to get out of your symbol system, I want you to notice the difference between the left wheel and the right wheel in these pictures. In the right side, you see the spokes randomly cross. They really don't randomly cross, but they're offset to provide the wheel with more strength. And there's two sides. There's the spokes that are closer to you, and then there are the spokes that are on the other side of the fork. So when those two overlap, it becomes more complicated. Here on the left, you have your spokes all divided up like a pizza. One of these two drawings is correct. One of these two drawings is not how spokes behave. I'll let you figure out which one. Negative shapes, again, are negative spaces. All right. Also work a lot like silhouettes. What is a silhouette? A silhouette is an outline of a character where the shape of the character meets the air. So a lot of times this negative space, this falls into other categories and is used for different things in art. You know, if you're doing a comic book and you want to make it a bit of a mystery about who's about to be in the next frame, or you start a movie by showing these shapes, you know who's coming. And if you don't know, then you obviously don't have a TV and you love to read, and God bless you because, well, reading's fundamental. Here we see a little kid playing on the playground. He is a silhouette, which means everything around him would be the negative shape. He becomes the positive, even though he's in black. Who can guess what supervillain that's supposed to be? Think X-Men movie. You'll probably figure it out. This one here with the water guns, also supposed to be an anti-hero from a very popular Netflix TV series. Only made it to season 2 because Marvel revoked their license. All right. So what you're going to do today, hopefully, I'm going to stop my sharing real quick, is you are going to pick a couple of objects or one hard object like a bike, and you're going to attempt to draw the air between the spaces of those objects. If it's a bike, give yourself a couple of days, sit down, look at it. You will get frustrated. That's why I'm going to tell you to look at one shape at a time. If you're doing the area between two spokes and it looks like a triangle or a wedge of pizza with a little bump for where the spokes tie in, draw that shape. Then draw the shape next to it. Then draw the shape next to that. Then draw the shape next to that. If you're only looking at angle and distance, a lot of times your ability to draw realistic becomes more successful. All right, so that's it for today. Make sure you take a good look around you. Look on the internet for negative spaces, negative shapes. See what you can find. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at timvaulato@u-46.org. Have a good day, guys.